I guess I'm live. All right. And I even said I had a viewer. Hey guys, how we doing today? So has everybody got their soup and their honey bun? Ready to talk some prison talk? I'm just playing. I keep these in my drawer. I don't think I'm ever gonna open them. It reminds me where I've been. Today I don't have to live on soups and honey buns. Although they're not bad. That's a staple when you go to prison. So anyways, looks like I got 2 viewers. Wow. That's more views than I ever had in my life before I went to prison. Um, so today I thought I'd go live and answer questions from you guys out there. Answer some. I got some comments people have left me. I'm gonna answer that, and I got some texts from people. So there's somebody named Rami or Rami. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Who's been trying to get a hold of me, and I've called you back. It goes straight to your voicemail, but you wanted to talk after you got off work, which is like midnight when you get off work in my time, California. But I think you said you get sentenced in 2 weeks, so maybe you're on here today, and I'll keep trying you because I know what it's like coming up to getting sentencing. It's not fun, and there's things you should prepare for before you go in front of that judge. So hopefully I can help you with that and have that judge give you a lighter sentence because you can make a difference the day you guys go. If you're if you're waiting sentencing day to go to prison, like a lot of my viewers are, there are things you can do on that day that can change that whole judge's perspective and opinion of you by what you say, how you present yourself, and things like that. I've got some videos about that. And let's see, anybody have any questions? Pop them up there. Ooh, I got 4 viewers now. Right on. So I'm here today to just talk about federal prison, what it's like. I thought maybe I'd talk about an average day in a federal prison camp, which is different from a state prison or a penitentiary, and it's a whole nother world. But it's still prison, guys. It's still prison. So if you got questions, ask away. We'll see how this goes today. Let's see. I'm going to start with some comments that I've gotten questions here. Let's see. Well, a lot of these are thank yous and stuff, but I'm looking for questions. So, well, thank you guys. I got Stan Cormy out there. He's always telling me great video and stuff. He thinks cigarettes should be brought back into prison too, but given out as an incentive. Yeah, I did a video the other day and I was talking about why they took the cigarettes away from prisoners. You know what? I mean, so maybe you can't smoke inside of your cell, but when you go outside, why can't you have a cigarette outside in prison? It would definitely calm the inmates down. It would stop a lot of the fights. It would solve a lot actually. Let's see here. We got Shelby says, loved your videos. How soon can you get a job in prison? As soon as you go to orientation. And they do orientation once a month. So depending on what day, sometimes they do it twice a month if they get a lot of inmates coming in. So depending on what day you get there, it's usually going to be a couple weeks before you go to orientation. And that's just like a 2 to 4 hour sit down in the auditorium, and every department comes and tells you what they expect of you while you're in prison. They give you the rules of the prison. They give you the rundown, an orientation. After you get that, then you can go to work. Uh, and as far as what kind of job you get, you can request jobs with your the counselor is the one who's going to assign you jobs. So in every prison camp, you have a counselor and you have a case manager. And the difference is the counselor is not like a counselor where you're going to sit down and tell the counselor all your problems. The counselor kind of runs the building that you live in. The counselor also assigns jobs. The counselor goes around and makes sure the bathrooms are clean. The counselor kind of runs the building. Your case manager works on your individual case, like what day you're getting out. He's gonna get a hold of the halfway house that you're going to go to and set that up for you. And he's going to do all your reviews. So your case manager works with you individually, and the counselor kind of runs the whole building. And there was 2 buildings where I lived at, and there was about 200 people in each building. The case manager will assign you jobs unless you go out and find a job yourself. So when I first got there, I remember I've been in the restaurant business a long time, and I've cooked and everything else. And I went up to the food service. Um, there was a man, one of the staff members in the kitchen. Somebody told me that he runs the kitchen. It's like my first few days there, and I went up to him and I introduced myself and I said, I haven't got a job yet, but I was looking to work. I don't know if you need any cooks, but I've got 20 years experience. And he said, well, I need bakers. Do you know how to bake? And I go, somewhat. He goes, well, this is prison, so you could probably do well. He goes, I need a baker because I got a guy quitting next week. And he gave me a paper. I filled it out. And he said, bring this paper to your counselor, man, and you can start next week. I brought the paper to my counselor, and she said, no, you can't have the job because you haven't been through orientation yet. I went back to the guy and said, they won't let me work for you because I haven't been to orientation. He goes, well, I can't wait. We need a baker. So sorry, that's the way it goes. But if you could find a job on your own, like there was a guy that wanted to work in an auto shop. And so he went up to the auto shop and asked if they were hiring. They said, yeah. And they were willing to wait till he did orientation. After orientation, he went to work at the auto shop. There's other guys that'll get you in where they work. And if you don't say anything at all, they're going to assign you whatever they're going to assign you. Half the people go to food service, but you're going to start off washing dishes and scraping trays or mopping the floors and cleaning the tables. The other jobs they give you if you don't say anything are like landscaping, where you're going to pull weeds, rake weeds, snow patrol, where I was in Colorado. And that you got to get up at 3 in the morning and shovel snow on all the sidewalks and all the roads. And that's not a very likable job. They'll give you an orderly job, cleaning bathrooms. Sometimes they're going to have you clean bathrooms at the other prisons. So I was at the prison camp, and we're known as campers. So we had 4 prisons on our property. We had the Supermax, the penitentiary, and the medium, and the camp. And all the lobbies in those other facilities, those inmates that live there are not allowed to go past a certain point. They can't go in the lobbies where the visitors go. And so they use us campers as orderlies over there. So they might have you cleaning out the visiting room where the people in the penitentiary have their visits on the weekends. They'll have you go clean those rooms. They'll have a camper clean the bathrooms and the lobbies in certain prisons. And sometimes you clean the warden's office. Here we go. Oh, wow. Check this out. I got John. Thank you, John. John just gave me a $10 super chat. Man, John, God bless you. And I have talked to John on the phone. And John, we'll keep in touch. John's going through this thing too, guys. So he gave me a few ideas about doing some videos. I just did one about how to use the bathroom in federal prison. Who would have thought? And I've been getting calls on that. Apparently, people like that. They didn't know what it's like to use the bathroom, so I'm going to kind of do some of those stuff. John says, got a job today. You did? Okay. Good for you, John. Good for you. What kind of job? That's great, man. Where was I? I got sidetracked. Oh, well. John gave me a super chat, man. Thank you, guys. I don't do these videos like I know a lot of my videos are kind of what other prison consultants do. I'm not a prison consultant, guys. I'm not ever gonna ask for money or charge you, but I take donations, super chats. Yeah, I got rent to pay and stuff, but I'm not trying to. Some of these prison consultants will charge you $10,000, and for things I offer for free. I got all kinds of links underneath the description. If you go underneath any of my videos and you hit read more and it opens up, I got links to how to get into RDAP for free, letters character reference letters for your friends and your family to send to the judge. Your personal narrative letter, how to write those, how to get into RDAP for free programs, college correspondence courses you could do while you're in prison. A link, there's a whole bunch of links. Everything from your sentencing guidelines help to finding out if you're going to a camp or a low, to finding out how much time you're going to get. All kinds of links, and I just keep adding them. See, I got a few more questions here. Shelby says, prayers for John. All right. John says, manager at Arby's here in town. Hey, I like Arby's, man. Sean's advice has already been priceless. Well, thank you, John. Thank you, John. I'd have never thought. My advice. I'm just a guy who went to prison. What do I know? I didn't know it was going to help other people. And you know what? Guys I did time with actually watch my show, and I've been getting. I just got off the phone with Salty. He's going to get on here. He keeps saying, but he's an older guy, and he doesn't know how to hook Zoom up to his phone. Even though I sent him a link, because he said he wants to come on the show. This guy's he's a funny guy. You guys will like him. He's got a lot to say. So Arby's is that's the first place I went my first day out of prison, man. So I was in Colorado, but I had to go to San Francisco. And when you get out of prison, they give you a bus ticket. Unless you got your own money, you could take an airplane or your family picks you up. So the first place I went was Arby's. They had one in Colorado Springs, and I got the beef brisket sandwich. It was good with curly fries, and I got a chocolate shake. It was. I remember that. That was the first thing I had, because all those years in prison, I sit and I watch all the commercials. We have the meats. We have the meats, right? And you don't get the meats while you're in prison. So it's one big thing is all the food commercials you see while you're in prison. Everybody, I want to get that when I get out. I want to get that when I get out. I want to get that when I get out. We love watching food commercials. Let's see. Richard. Hey, Richard, how we doing? Richard says, are prisoners getting COVID-19 vaccines in New Jersey? Everyone above 16 is allowed to get the shot starting April 19th. So, guys, I just got an email. You guys know my buddy Jonathan that had to do a year and a day. He keeps emailing me and calls me, and he just got his shot yesterday. I'll read a couple of his emails in a little bit. Jonathan's this 23-year-old kid that went in for some kind of computer wire fraud. He got a year and a day. He's in Devens, Massachusetts at the camp. And his out date right now is December 12th, but he hasn't had his halfway house time added to that. He's going to get at least 1 or 2 months halfway house time. And so I got a few of you guys that are getting sentenced that told me to come on the show. Chris from Alabama is coming on Saturday, he told me. If you're out there, hey, Chris. Let me see who else. I got James Poe. Oh, definitely very good advice. Thank you, James. Harky's back. What happened from the time the feds raided you till when you got indicted? That was about a year. It was about a year in between. And I hadn't frozen my bank accounts yet. So I was able to come up with $5,000 to pay a lawyer because I was scared. And the lawyer was talking to the feds for me. And I'd call the lawyer every couple of weeks, and the lawyer said, no news is good news. No news is good news. We haven't heard nothing yet. Maybe they won't indict you. Maybe they won't indict you. Finally, a year goes by. They indicted you. Yeah, let me see. What else? John says, they are vaccinating everyone in Oregon, regardless of age or disability now. Okay. I just got my shot. I got the Johnson & Johnson. I got it last week at the Oakland Coliseum. It's a big sports arena where the Oakland Raiders used to play before they went to Vegas. So, and it's like an hour drive from where I'm at, but I was able to get the shot there. So, and I got my little registration card. Hard, what happened the day when you got indicted? Did you just get arrested randomly? No, I didn't get. I got a call from the lawyer saying, and by then I was broke. They had already frozen my bank account and everything. The lawyer said, I'm not going to be representing you anymore, but you got to show up in court. Like, she called me like 2 days before and said, you've been indicted. Show up for court. I'll be there. They're not going to arrest you. You're going to sign some paperwork, and they're going to put you on pretrial, and then we're done unless you got 80 grand to hire me. So I showed up for court, and it was just a preliminary hearing, and they said you have been indicted. We're going to put you on pretrial. I didn't even know what that meant. I had no clue, but so basically they gave me a bond, a $50,000 bond, and I had to sign it. And they trust me, and they told me, if you miss any court dates, the marshals will come after you, and you'll owe us $50,000, and we will get the $50,000 from you if it takes the rest of your life to get it. From that day forward, if you don't show up for court, they'll get their money, but they trusted me. Other people have to actually put up $50,000, $100,000. Some people have to put up their house. I was white collar crime, little low scale guy, so I guess they weren't worried about it, and they trusted me. I didn't have to put up any money, and I was on pretrial. I did miss a court date later on, and you can watch another video about that. And I got lucky, and they let me go do a drug program instead of locking me up in detention. And then I still stayed out on pretrial. Let's see, what happened today? Okay, so yeah, I guess Devon's Massachusetts camp. Jonathan told me this was yesterday. I got the email. So they vaccinated everybody in one day, everybody they could that day. So that camp's had their shots. They got the what's the one? The one that has to be frozen at like 100 degrees below zero, whatever. That's the one I can't remember the name. I got a Joe Biden moment going on. Man, come on, the thing. Anyways, that name. Let's see. Well, what was the point of hiring a lawyer pre-indictment? Did he even do anything, man? The point was I was scared, and I never, I didn't know what to do. I mean, my house got raided, like I said last time on the video. There's, I don't know, 30 black SUVs on my block. I must have had 30 agents in the house, and they scared the hell out of me. So yeah, I went and hired a lawyer because I didn't know what to do next, and they told me not to leave town, and that they were gathering evidence to indict me. So the point of hiring a lawyer was I was scared. I didn't know what to do, and then they froze all my bank accounts, and I had no money, so I couldn't keep a lawyer. But yeah, that's why I hired the lawyer, because I was scared. Let's see here. All right, thank you guys. Oh, 10 people are on the show. Wow. Let's see here. Yeah, John's got this one here. Thank you. Okay. Here Shelby says, is Shelby on here? I think she is. Yeah, Shelby. So I got your comment. I don't know if you got my reply. It says, thanks for the content. My fiance violated his probation and is doing 13 months. Where did it go? Do you think he's eligible for halfway house time? He got violated because he got kicked out of treatment that was mandatory, and he was hostile to his probation officer. Yeah, so he got violated. 13 months. They'll give him at least a month halfway house time. And depending, here's the thing: if he violated his probation. So here's the thing: when you're on federal probation and state probation, here's the difference. If you're on state probation and you come up with a dirty test or whatever it is, if you violate it, they can restart your probation. Say you've got 2 weeks left under state probation, and you give them a dirty test, and you just got done doing 2 years probation, they can start it all over again. The good news with the feds, I don't know if it's good news, they don't restart your probation. So there was a guy at my camp came in on a second violation for having a dirty bottle. And every time you pee in that cup, and if it's dirty, they send you right back to the camp you were at for 6 months at least. This guy was in there on a second violation. They gave him 6 months. And he said, but the thing is, when I'm done, I'm done. I'm not on probation anymore, because he had 3 years probation. So I got 1.5 years probation left, right? If I come up dirty and I piss in the cup and it's dirty, they'll throw me back for 6 months. When I get out, I'll have a year probation left. They won't restart it. So that's the good thing. At least no matter what the violation is, they don't restart your probation. So Shelby, in his case, I don't know how much time he had left on probation, but he's doing 13 months, and maybe he was almost. So it could be that when he gets out, he's done, no probation, which is a good thing, if that makes sense. Let's see. Slat Mafia. I self-surrender June 7th. What's the difference from a minimum camp and a low camp? I like that question. So June 7th, you self-surrender. So camps, there's 5 kinds of prison levels. There's a camp, which is also called minimum security, which is also called a satellite camp. They're all the same. The next one is your low security. Then there's your medium or your FCI. Then there's your penitentiary or USP. Then there's the supermax. So you've got a minimum camp and a low camp. There's not really nothing called a low camp. There's low security camps do not have fences. Low security prisons have fences, but you're still in a safe prison even with the low securities. There's no gangs and politics and paperwork and out in a low security either. They do have a fence. There's a few things. A low is full of child molesters. Hate to tell you, the child molesters are not allowed in a camp, and that's the best thing I think that a camp has to offer. So yeah, you in a low camp. There is no low camp. There's low security or low. Then like I said, there's minimum camp, satellite camp. They're all the same. The difference between a camp and a satellite camp is there's about 110 federal prisons out there, and most of them are complexes. They have 2 or 3 kinds of prisons all on a complex, and they'll call the satellite camp is kind of off to the side, but still connected with the complex. Like, you know how the moon goes around the Earth, and they call that a satellite. So the satellite camp is kind of going around the complex too, and then a camp is just like a standalone camp all by itself. There's about 10 of those. So I hope that answers your question. Richard says, "Did you get a roommate yet?" No, I didn't get a roommate yet. Yeah, guys. So look, I'm in a sober living house. I don't know if I can show you this. Well, so I didn't get a roommate yet. So the last guy relapsed. So I'm in a sober living house, and it's in Mountain View, California. And so when I got out of the halfway house, I still needed a place to go. And these sober living houses, a lot of my buddies that got out of prison are living in one too. Talked to my friend Chris today. He's in San Diego, and he lives in one. And Jason in North Carolina, he lives in one. And so this one has 3 bedrooms. 6 guys usually live in the house. We only got 4 right now. The rent's ridiculous in California, $950, and I got to share a room. But I can come and go as I want. I can take off on the weekends and all that. But if I'm drunk or high, they'll have me piss in a cup. We got to go to AA meetings or NA meetings a couple of weeks. We have a house meeting. We got chores, but we have lives. And, if I had a girlfriend, I can go over her house and spend the night. It's not a problem. So it's kind of it's the next step till I get my own place. Probation's really happy I'm here. Probation likes these sober living houses because they know we're in a controlled, safe environment, and they don't have to worry about us. So let's see. Harkey says, "What advice would you give to younger individuals who are innocent, who could potentially be indicted in the future?" I'm talking 18 to 20-year-old range who could potentially be indicted if they're innocent. Have they committed a crime yet? So my advice to young people is you think about every move you make. Think about the friends you hang out with. Think about if your buddies pull up in a car and one guy's drunk or they want to go. Don't hang out with the thugs. You know what I mean? Be a square if you have to. Be a nerd. Choose your friends wisely. Don't hang out with criminal friends. And sometimes it's easy for me to say. Sometimes you where was I going with this? I got lost. But I mean, think about what you do if you're a youngster and you got buddies talking about you know doing some kind of a crime. You got to think about what you do. It's going to affect your future. It's also not going to. It's also going to affect your family, and your loved ones, and the people who care about you, and the people around you, and everything you do is like a butterfly effect. You know. So I would tell the youngster, that's I got to think about this one. Let me read the question again. What advice would you give to younger individuals who are innocent who could potentially be indicted in the future? I'm talking 18 to 20-year-old range, potentially be invited. Well, for one, whatever you're doing, stop it. Just stop it. I mean, look, half the states in the country, marijuana is legal. So and alcohol is legal. And if drugs are your thing, move to a state where pot's legal and alcohol's legal, and just put the coke and the meth away and live on the pot and alcohol if that's what you want to do. All right, and get a job, stay out of trouble, and choose your friends wisely. Hopefully you're not in the pot and you don't have an alcoholic problem. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm saying, but if it's already a problem, do something about it. Hopefully it's not. But I grew with cocaine in the 80s and 90s and meth later. And if marijuana was legal back when I had my coke problem, I probably could have compromised and just done the marijuana and the alcohol and never got all those times I got thrown in jail, which led for me eventually coming up with schemes and scams till I landed in prison and I ruined my life. So drugs and alcohol ruined my life. Not to mention a father who beat me, and a mother who was a drunk, and a bad childhood. But all that stuff, when you get old, I can't blame my parents anymore. I went to jail when I was 52 years old. I couldn't blame my father for that then. So you got to think about every choice and decision you make, especially when you're young, man. Your whole future's ahead of you. You don't want to be some guy in his 50s on YouTube talking about how he just got out of prison. Think about that if you're 18 years old. I hope that helps. Let's see. More questions. Let's see. Harky took those questions away. Okay, so Slat says, "Oh, okay, I'm going to Lewisburg camp." Oh, you're going to Lewisburg camp? Okay. Yeah, I'm on the computer now, or I punch it up for you. Lewisburg is a USP. So, John, Lewisburg is probably a USP and probably a medium and probably a low. I could punch it up, but I'll lose my screen here. Let me see. I'm going to do it anyways. I don't know if you guys can see here. Gov. I'm punching it up. I don't know if. So it says here, Lewisburg, it's a medium security U.S. penitentiary with an adjacent minimum security satellite camp. That's where you got the word minimum camp. It's got an adjacent minimum security camp. So yeah, so like I said, the satellite camp that revolves around it. So this USP has a camp next to Lewisburg, and the reason they have the camp is they're going to use those campers as workers. If the penitentiary goes on lockdown, let's say two inmates get in a fight in the chow hall, right? And it's Norteño against the Sereno, right? That's the North and South Mexican gangs, and they go at it. The whole prison goes on lockdown. Everybody gets put in their cell and they don't come out for shit. Even the jobs they have, everything's on hold. Well, who's gonna who's gonna empty the trash? Who's gonna make the food? Who's gonna do the laundry? They're gonna get all these campers and they're going to come over to the camp, and they're going to grab like 50 guys, and like at 5 in the morning, they're going to make all the campers go over to the penitentiary at Lewisburg, and they're going to cook the food. They're going to make the bag lunches, the breakfast. They're going to give bologna sandwiches for at least 2 weeks for all 3 meals, and then slowly they're going to start giving them cereal and bananas for breakfast and maybe some dinner items, and slowly till the lockdown comes off. But all their trash is going to be emptied by campers. Their laundry is going to be done by campers. All the programs and everything that Lewisburg has, when it goes on lockdown, it's on lockdown. And that's where the campers come in. So that's why a USP needs a camp next to it. I hope that answers your question. And John says medium. It said medium USP, which meant, so you've got, in the USP stands for United States Penitentiary. And when it says a medium United States Penitentiary, it means it might not be as bad as like what's the worst penitentiary? Atlanta, I think, is a high risk penitentiary. So a medium penitentiary, if there's such a thing, it's going to be a little less violent, and that's, so instead of serial killers and terrorists, it's just going to be murderers, and you know what I mean. It'll be a little lower class violent inmate in a medium penitentiary, but it's still going to be a dangerous place. Slash says there's a minimum camp there. Yeah, I just think I just got done saying that. Steve said, "Are you going to the satellite camp?" And or John said, "Yeah," and he says, "Yeah." Slot Mafia. Okay. James says, "Oh wow, I'm in San Diego." Okay. Richard Holloway. Richard says, "I take CBD." Oh yeah, okay. I know that's cannibal, and that's the juice from the hemp, right? CBD gummies for stress when working overseas. Are you allowed to take CBD? I am not. Well, I don't know if it doesn't show up. If it doesn't show up in a drug test, even though I'm in California, I'm still under federal law. So marijuana is illegal federally, and alcohol is legal, but I'm not allowed to drink on probation. So there's times I watch movies on TV and they got a shot of Jack Daniels. It looks good, man. But I can't do it. I don't want to go back to prison. One shot of tequila, and I go do 6 months on a violation. Is it fair? I should have thought about that before I did my crime. Richard said, John says, he's right there, a camp there also, okay? And James says, this Tijuana border is very tempting. Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you there. I hear stories about when I was at the camp, guys who were thinking about going to Mexico and just running and staying off, if you can stay off the grid. But I've also heard stories of marshals going down to Tijuana and getting you, and they make deals with the Mexicans and with the Mexican government, and they come get you. If you're Hispanic, you could probably get away with living in Mexico. I don't think a white boy running from the law is gonna do too well in Mexico, because they're probably not gonna want you there, for one, and then now you're running from the law, you're going to bring attention to whatever they're doing. But if you're part Mexican, yeah, instead of doing time, I'm not going to tell anybody to go on the run. I thought about it, but I even went around trying to find somebody. You see in these movies how you can get your identity and you get a passport made, and a fake ID and all this stuff, $10,000. Maybe I watched too many movies and TV series and stuff, but when I actually tried to get my identity changed and get a fake passport and stuff, people just laughed at me and told me that's in the movies. So let's see here. Richard says it doesn't show up in a test. Okay, if it doesn't show up in a test, you should be all right. Now, Richard, if it was me, I would tell my probation officer and ask him ahead, because I would not want to get violated. I know it doesn't get you high either, right? The CBD doesn't get you high. It doesn't have any THC in it, from what I understand. So I don't see the problem, And I know you could probably get a prescription for it if you had to. So I don't think they trip on that because it's not getting you high. Uh, James says, yeah, and I'm American Indian myself. So you could probably blend in there. I don't know if you got people or connections, but hey, man, I'm not the one to tell you what to do, especially on a public channel, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's between you and your God. You know, that's a tough decision because you could never come back here. I mean, of course you could, but I mean, you'd be taking a chance. I don't know. You weigh out your pros and cons. I mean, you got family out here you're never going to see again. You got a life. If you're just looking at going to a camp, the average time at camp is about 5 years, and most guys are getting a year or two now. I don't know the crime. I don't know all your details, but it's your life's not over. You go to these camps, you're safe there. You have your little 2-3 year vacation from the world, and you come out and you still got a chance to start your life over. If it's if you got a life here, if you have no life at all here whatsoever, and no family, no friends, yeah, maybe you want to leave the country. I don't know. Slat says, I got 24 months. I have 7 months in. So with my good time, that'll be 13 months, right? You got 24 months. You have 7 months in. I don't know how you got 7 months in, but I got 7 months in. So with my good time, that'll be 13 months, right? 24 months. Your good time's going to be 2 months for every year, so that's 4 months. That brings you down to 20, and then 20 minus 7 is 13 months. Yeah, that's right. James says, "Oh yeah, I understand. It's just wild. The probation office is so close to the border." Yeah. Richard says, my family works for people that track people down in Mexican or Tijuana. Well, there you go. See, we got track people. There's trackers out there that do that for a living to look for people on the run. John says, so he has 17 months left minus good time. Yeah, you said I got 7. You got 7 months in, but you're on a YouTube channel. I mean, how do you get 7? So how did you get those 7 months in if you're out? You know what I mean? Unless you're on a cell phone right now in a camp watching this video. Richard says, they will make deals with those governments. Yes, they will make deals with the Mexican government. 2-for-1s, all that kind of stuff. Slot says, I'm out pre-trial. Judge let me out. Okay. Oh, I got you. Now that makes sense. So like you were in federal holding detention, county jail kind of thing. And then you got out. You finally got out. Yeah, because that happened. You get out while you're on pretrial. That's how you got your 7 months. So if you qualify for RDAP, if you have 24 months or more, you can get 6 months off on a 24-month sentence with RDAP and another 6 months halfway house. But now you won't have enough time to do. You would have enough time to do RDAP, but it wouldn't do you any good. RDAP takes 9 months. Maybe you could go straight to a halfway house. I don't know if you know what RDAP is, but it's a residential drug abuse program that gives you up to a year off, and it also gives you 6 months halfway house time. But it takes 9 months to do the program, and you have to. So you got 13 months to go. So theoretically, if RDAP, they have 4 RDAPs a year. Every 3 months they start a new course. So let's say you went in. Let's say the next RDAP starts June 1st. You have to go in like 2 weeks early to give them time to get you signed up for the RDAP. You could do 9 months of RDAP, and then they would release you immediately to a halfway house for the remaining 4 months, and you would have your 6 months off. So you basically do 9 months at the camp, or 9.5 months. You'd have to time it perfectly. It could be done. It could be done. And I can help you out with that on another day. My information, my number's on there, my email, and if you want to look me up later, we can make a plan. You can make it work. We can make it work. All depends on your pre-sentence report if it's got the fact that you have an alcohol and drug problem on there. But yeah, theoretically, you could get in and out in 9.5 months. Let's see, James says, "Oh yeah, I understand. It's just okay." I read that one. Richard says they will make deals with those governments. Yeah, I read that. I'm out on pretrial. Judge, let me out. Yeah, I am on pretrial as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah, John, I know you're on pretrial. Zafio, hey, it's a live stream. Got it if you like it. Give it a thumb if you like it. Sorry, I'm squinting, guys. Getting old. Put on my glasses here. Count time, man. Count time. Stand up for count. No. No. That brings back memories. That's the wrong glasses. Can I write your name down as preparer on my 2020? You write my name down, they might come get you, man. Don't use my name and taxes together. If you guys don't know, I did wire fraud. I filed false tax returns for people. And I got people refunds they did not deserve. And I went to prison for it. So I'm even afraid to do my own taxes now. Although I did do my own taxes this year. I was very honest with it. And sent my tax return to my probation officer and let him know everything I did. Yeah, I don't want my name on anybody's tax returns ever again because I don't ever want to go back to prison. Let's see here on some of these comments. Where was I? Let's see. Slat says, "Are they doing quarantine in the prison when I arrive?" Yes, they are. Is it Slat Mafia? I guess I'm saying that right. So yeah, I'm talking to a couple guys that are inside right now. They email me, and it's still quarantine. Some camps, if they have the room, put you on a quarantine range. So ranges, when you go to camps, ranges are there are these hallways with these little cubicles on each side, like office cubicles. Usually 20 or 30 cubicles on each range, maybe probably 20, with 2 people in each one. So, anyways, they'll make one of those a quarantine range, and so anybody that has a negative, that's tested negative, lives on that range. Any new people coming in live on that range. And when you get anybody that tests positive lives on that range. Excuse me. And anybody new coming in lives on that range. If you give them 2 negative tests, then they let you out, and they're at least 10 days apart on the negative test. So, and anybody that's refusing to get the vaccine shot, they also get put on that range. So once you get there, you're going to have to do like 2 weeks quarantine. Some camps are putting people in a little shoe, so it depends which camp. It used to be everybody was going to the shoe, and it was a little holding cell, like not much there. Just a bed and a sink and a toilet, and they let you out 3 days a week for a shower, and they give you some books to read, and they bring you your food, and it sucks. But now they have these quarantine ranges, and I'm not sure which camp is doing which yet, but they're all starting to do that. But I've been told by Jonathan, if you refuse to get the vaccine shot, they put you on you got to live on the quarantine range, and you don't get to do any programs, no classes. You don't get to go out to the gym. You can't go outside. You can't work out. You can't walk the track. You can't play baseball because baseball season's opening up in prison right now. Baseball's a big deal. Softball, it's a big deal in prison, especially in the prison camp where I was at. We had softball leagues, and softball goes for like 6 months out of the year, and it's a big deal, man. And they do a really good job. They've got, we had a scoreboard. We had all the umpires. We had coaches. We had all machines to do all the lines on the field. They had real bases, real bats, real balls, all that. We had bleachers, and the fan stands are just going crazy. People yelling and screaming, and man, it's nothing like watching a softball game in prison, especially in a prison camp. We don't have a fence. Cars are driving by. It looks like some park and rec when the car's driving by. It doesn't even look like a prison. It just looks like a bunch of guys playing baseball, having fun, like a minor league baseball team. And you'll miss out on that if you refuse to take the vaccine shot. You'll miss out on a lot. So take the shot so you don't have to spend the rest of your time in quarantine. Let's see here. Richard says, friends of mine pay $2,000 a month in a sober living per month in Nashville, Tennessee. $2,000 a month? God, because I heard in San Francisco, which is about 20 miles from where I live, it's $1,500 a month, and I thought that was ridiculous. $2,000 a month. They must have their own room and a swimming pool. Wow. In Nashville, $2,000 a month. I don't know how. Well, there's these high class sober living houses. I know there's one in Millbrae. That's a town in between here and San Francisco that charges $1,800 a month, and they have a swimming pool, but they get their own room. I guess there's fancy ones. Zephel, I don't know how you say that. Xephal. Zephel. Jerks lost my 2019 taxes, but idiots say not to resend it as it will cause automatic audit and delay it more. Sorry, I am not allowed to ever give tax advice to people. Period. I can't consult you. I can't talk about your taxes. It would break I would be a violation. So talk to a tax preparer. Talk to a CPA. Don't ask me any tax questions, guys, especially online on YouTube. But I am not going back to prison. I cannot help you with any tax questions. Period. Sorry. Richard says, did you guys have a gym to lift weights? Yes and yes. So we had a big gym, like a high school gym, that had weight machines inside, but we had free weights, the bars and free weights. We had those outside, and it kind of had a tarp kind of cover. That would hold about 40 people. And then we had weight machines inside the gym, and they also had treadmills. How do you say ecliptos? Ecliptos. The Joe Biden thing again. Come on, man, the thing. Ecliptos. The staircase things, whatever. Anyways, they had exercise bikes and all kinds of gym equipment. Staffel says, I'd take rest of time in quarantine. You would. So you wouldn't get the shot. Well, yeah, well, you say that now until you're in the quarantine. John says, elliptical. Yeah, thank you. That's it. Yeah, and he even put it, sorry, phonetics for me. Elliptical, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, I'm old, but I'm not as old as the president. Sefel says, yes, definitely don't want you to do anything that would violate parole if you're still under. Yeah, I got about a year and a half left on my federal probation. They give you 3 years when you get out of the feds. They give most people 3 years. Some guys get 5, some get 2, 1, but 3 is the average. So yeah, taxes, I can't talk about taxes. No, can't give advice, period. Don't want to. Don't ever, yeah. Sorry I ever did what I did because it threw me in prison, but yeah, cannot help people. That's just the way it is. Let's see what else I got going here. That's 6 people on here. 4:49. Well, it's 10 to 5. I'm going to give it maybe 10 more minutes. We got some more questions, guys. I know what I'll do. I'm going to tell you guys, I got 2 guests coming on tomorrow and Friday, man, and I'm really excited. And you guys we're gonna do a Zoom thing, and it'll be on there. So tomorrow, got a guy named Mark Lundholm. He's a comedian. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's even got he had an HBO special. He's been around the recovery world. He's got like 20 years clean and sober, but he also did a whole bunch of time in jails and prisons. And now he goes around the jails and prisons and kind of does motivational comedy act speaking. He's with an organization called wholehearted.org. And he's a friend of mine's sponsor. And he's agreed to come on, do a little podcast show with me tomorrow morning. So I should have it all uploaded by noon tomorrow. You guys are really funny as hell. Mark Lundholm. So look for that. And Friday, I'm doing an interview with a lady named AnnEdenfield Sweet, who runs the Wings for Life Foundation. And this is a foundation that she started, I think, 20 years ago, helping families of inmates. So while you guys are going to prison, your families are stuck at home going through it. Taking over where you left off, trying to get a job, trying to run a household, getting shamed by their friends and their family. You wouldn't believe, she opened up my eyes the other day. I was talking with her on Zoom about what your kids go through at school, how they're teased, and your father's in prison, your mother's in prison. The families that we leave behind, the daily life, the everything that we leave them. Okay, not only do we abandon them, not only did we do this to them and we hurt them and we ruined the relationship we had with them, and we're going away to prison. Sometimes they lose their jobs. So a lot of their friends won't talk to them. They get shamed. They go to the grocery store and everybody's pointing at them, and and their neighbors, and you know what I mean. They go through it. So she has a foundation that brings support and help and all that to the families of inmates. And she also also helps some inmates go through kind of doing what I do. And anyway, she's been watching my videos, and another friend of mine who works for her organization that I know. Well, anyways, put us all together, and she will be on here Friday talking about her organization and how you guys can find help for your families while you go in. They don't have to be left alone hanging out to dry. It's called Wings for Life, so look for that on Friday. On Saturday, Chris from Alabama got 18-month sentence. You're going in May 7th or something, I think, Chris. If you're listening, if you're out there, he will be on my show Saturday. So the next 3 days, I got interviews lined up. I'm really happy about this. It's all good stuff to help you guys go through what you're going through, not alone. You know what I mean? Let me see. Richard says they just stopped giving out Johnson & Johnson shots. Do you know why? Yeah, because 6 women had blood clots. Very rare, they said, but I don't think the women died, but they have some complications. And I got the Johnson & Johnson. That's the one they gave me the other day, last week. So, figures, as soon as I get it, they say Johnson, they told me it had 76% effectiveness, but 100% chance of not dying. It prevents death. So I told the lady, so if I go jump off a 10-story building right now, I will still live? And she didn't laugh. Okay. John says, blood clots. Yep. So how's your life going now that you're out in this economy? I got laid off. My first job out of prison was for St. Anthony's Dining Room in San Francisco, where I was washing dishes while I lived in the halfway house. Then I got a promotion to a cook for their drug program at a different building in San Francisco. That was $19 an hour. And they were going to make me the chef in a couple months because somebody was leaving and everything was looking good. And this pandemic hit. And in March, I got laid off and they shut the drug program down, and I have been on unemployment. So unemployment's paying my rent right now. Things are starting to open back up here in California. Hopefully, I'll go back in the restaurant business. We'll see. I got like 20 years restaurant management, restaurant chef, or anything like that. Like I said, I wasn't ashamed to go back to washing dishes at 55 years old when I was washing dishes last year at the halfway house. But I bought a car washing dishes, a used car, 20 years old. So I'm not ashamed to do that, but I'd like to get back into restaurant management or a chef. Right now, I'm on unemployment. So that's my situation. Um, Richard says, thanks. Hey, Zepho, $1.99. Thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These super, I can't believe these super chats are just. Thank you very, very much. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Um, yeah. So, what time is it? 4:55. So, guys, I want to thank all these people that are watching right now. Had 14, 6. Anyway, I know more people watch this later. So, I'm new to this YouTube world, guys. I've been, I think 5 months or 6 months, 5 or 6 months, I've been doing these videos. And I started off just wanting to do one video to tell people what my first day in prison was like. And that's all I was really going to do. Maybe I was going to do a couple, because there wasn't a lot of information out there when I was on pretrial how to get through this thing, and I didn't want to do it alone. And I watched a lot of Dan's videos, and this is before he was a big-time prison consultant. He helped me for free. And I said to myself, I want to make some videos. Maybe somebody like me will watch them. And it's, almost every week I tell myself, okay, enough with the videos. It's stupid. You're not, why you do those videos? You're telling your whole life story to perfect strangers. And then I get a call from somebody that's going through what I went through, and it makes the whole difference. I get a comment or two comments, and thanks for the information. And I get a text on my phone, and I get an email. And next thing, by the end of the week, I can't stop making these videos. There's people out there actually thanking me for what I've done, and it makes my life worth something. It makes my life worth something. Not just going to prison wasn't enough for me to pay back all the damage I've done. Because I also hurt my family, a lot of loved ones and friends and employers, and there's people that probably never speak to me again. And there's a lot of people I shamed, and there's a girlfriend or two or three out there that I put a bad name on because I went to prison, and you know, had a fiance that was going to get married. She ended up doing time in prison. Had she never met me, she wouldn't have went to prison. Um, you know what I mean? And I pulled her in my little criminal world and showed her how to do taxes. And next thing you know, she's going to prison. Um, Not that I put a gun to her head, but had our paths never crossed, so many people I've probably heard out there. And if any way I can give back to the world and help out the next guy that went through what I went through, and life doesn't end once you go to prison. Once you get out, I mean, I know if you're on pretrial, you guys that are getting sentenced and all this, facing the camp and all that, your life's far from over. You're gonna get through this camp thing. It's safe. It's not dangerous. Nobody's gonna beat you up. Nobody's gonna make you their bitch. Not in a camp. Not in a low security. You're perfectly safe unless you open up your mouth and start a fight, or you tell on people that are, if there's guys drinking Jack Daniels, don't go tell on them. See a guy on a cell phone, you keep your mouth shut. All right, you'll be fine. You'll get through this, and then you'll get out of prison, and then you can go rebuild your life. I'm trying to rebuild all the damage I do with my family. It's not easy. It's not easy. But my dad's side of the family talks to me. My father died while I was in prison. My stepmother, who's been my stepmother for 35 years, wants nothing to do with me. Had a lawyer send me a letter saying if you contact your stepmother, we're going to put a restraining order on you, and we're going to contact your probation. We're going to make your life miserable. And this is the lady who practically raised me, wants nothing to do with me. So, we do a lot of damage when you go to prison. They're ashamed. So I got amends to make and repairs to make. So I'm going to keep doing these videos, try to help the next guy. And people say, well, Sean, what are you crazy? You put your real phone number on YouTube? What are you, stupid? Maybe. But you know what? God has not given me anything I can't handle yet. I'm not here to preach God, but I get 2 or 3 calls a day, 5 on a good day, 1 on a slow day, nothing I can't handle. And they've all been people just reaching out, wanting somebody to listen to them and talk to them and who's been through what they've been through, and that's why I do it. And if I ever get the weirdos calling me or the strangers, I'll change my number and I'll give it out just to the right people. Or I'm not worried about that right now. Right now, I'm just trying to pay it forward to help out the next guy. So yeah. So I'm for real, guys. If you need to call me, my number's in the information below, and I'll talk you through this. I'm not trying to get 10 grand from you, okay? There's some guys out there that are. I'm not trying to get your money at all. Although I got $1.99 super chat from FELON, and God bless you for that. But and John gave me a $10 super chat. So wow, thank you guys. And those are donations, and yeah, and YouTube, get a little bit of money for the commercials on YouTube. It's a couple bucks a day, maybe right now. Who knows? One day, maybe I'll get a nonprofit going and help more people out. Like to help inmates when they get out, find a job and a car and a place to live, and and kind of an adopted inmate program and help them out while they're in there. And that's all future plans. But today, all I can do is be there for anybody who needs my help. I'm out there. So I want to say, God bless you guys. You're going to get through this. I'm going to say goodbye unless there's one last question. I guess not. So it's been an hour. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day.